Cal, it was certainly an eventful afternoon at the Diva. It finishes 9 versus 10 and a 1-0 defeat to Fylde. What was your take on the game?
3 games within a game, 11v11 for 41 minutes, a game that probably lacked quality. We wanted to prioritise our work without the ball, playing against a full-time side that spend a hell of a lot of money, that bring in a centre forward this week. They've got some of the best players in the division. Nick Horton is an absolutely tremendous footballer, and you have to set up a certain way, and we felt we restricted them to kicking the ball diagonally onto their right wing back. Their goalkeeper just going big. Maybe they thought they could trouble us with direct play. I thought our 2 centre halves were excellent. 10v10, as much as it sounds, it's an even game. It's very, very different because the pitch becomes enormous. Shapes and systems and the norm become very different for both sides, by the way, because obviously you're a man light in both areas, so you could see both sides sort of arm wrestling one another to work out, well, what are you going to do? So I was intrigued by what they would do. 10v10, we wanted to make sure we were solid, and it just felt we were going into it. And then a red card, 9v10, what do you do? We started trying to be a back 4, 3 midfielders and keep a threat and keep a forward on. Maybe someone to work off. Wasn't practical really. They were starting to trouble us 2v1 in wide areas, so we have to go with 2 banks of 4 and nothing else, and you try and stay in the game. And then it's an hard one. That set plays become difficult to defend because jobs are changing on the back of 3 substitutions, on the back of players, red card substitutions the other side. But it's almost to work so hard out of possession 9v10 to try and get something out of the game, to then concede from a set piece is difficult. So a bizarre game really that becomes a disappointing little run of results. That if you have a game like this on the back of 2 wins, you can almost write it off. But that's what we have to do, and we've got to try and move on. So frustrated, but I thought the application of the players, particularly 9v10, was impressive, to be honest, in terms of the way they applied and kept trying to do stuff against a side that are regarded, like I said, that were expected to run away with it. They've certainly been in the game today. Definitely,
and as you talk about the almost the 3 games in a game, the talking points are ultimately the red cards. Very hard for us to see the incident, the double red for 1 from each side, and then Joe Lynch on the halfway line. Did you have a view on those red cards?
Not till I get a real view. Obviously, we're fortunate with the first one that the footage comes from that side of the pitch, so there'll be no hiding place for anyone, and that is players, that's both teams, that's officials, that to make sure they've got stuff right. I've asked the referee at half time on the way in. It was a referee that I like. Don't think there's some stuff today that I'd want to ask him, but he's good to communicate with. We've had him before, and it's important you don't just hammer officials, because like I've said, they don't get this platform that I get. And I've asked him, and he said head-to-head contact from both players, so that must be 50-50, both players at the same speed, the same force, bringing their heads together, rather than one instigating it, because obviously if there's one instigated, you'd assume there'll be 1 red card. So I look forward to seeing that on the footage. My criticism was the lad that's been sent off for them has just spent 41 minutes fouling people and running through the back and bulldozing people that should have been booked earlier on. Maybe he wouldn't have been as reckless with his challenge if he'd had the yellow card that he sort of warranted. The second one, it just happens really quickly. It's an attempt to stop a counter-attack on the back of a throw-in. Given the red cards come out as a straight red, he must have judged it as violent conduct and that it's excessive force how he's tried to do it. Again, take the opportunity to see it back. But we can't just complain about officials. People shouldn't make excuses for me and my team. We've got a punch return that is less than what we wanted it to be from 5 games. Do I think our performances deserve more? Yes. If the laws of the game had been applied properly in the first 4, we have 7 points. But it was never going to be a magic wand at the start of this season that turned us round into a side that win 5 from 5. We came in a little bit late with only 2 players, had to work very hard to retain what we wanted to retain, and work very, very hard to recruit. Then add in an injury situation where you lose George Glendon, who there is nothing else like in this level of football. You lose Louis Earle for a period of time, so we've only got Liam Edwards back out there for the first time today. Jamie Morgan, Kevin Roberts, they walk into teams at this level, and we've had to contend with that at the start of a new opportunity, and it's hard. And I'm finding that hard, that you want that bit of good fortune and you want everything to go for you early doors, but I'm not rocked by it. We're going to stick with it. We're going to make sure we work very, very hard. And look, the exciting bit is there isn't a week of disappointment building up to another Saturday. There is a game on Monday, and a game that's become very, very important for us.
A name you mentioned there was Liam Edwards. Obviously, back from injury and straight into the side, and it was a fantastic performance, and a shame he's ended up on the losing side, because it was an outstanding performance and rightly named man of the match.
He's immense as a character, likeable, had some setbacks over his career to this point. He worked very, very hard. We knew what it was going to be like when we signed Liam, knew that we wanted to do some work with him, and we put him back out there and we feel like he was ready, and I thought he was excellent, and he doesn't deserve to be on the losing side. Excellent in the air, in terms of organisation. Thought Alex Kenyon was very good next to him, and that we felt like that had worked for us. We went with a particular route at centre half, and they haven't troubled our box really, never mind the goal. So it's a shame for him, but I keep trying to pull it back to that point of there isn't a 7-day wait. Normally you'd be 2 games in 48 hours and you feel like you're on the hop. I can't wait to get back out there on Monday, because it has been a really challenging opening 5 games where the players can't do any more in terms of what they're being asked to do, other than perhaps put the ball in the back of the net in a game against Hereford. They've responded really well. What I just have to put out there is that it was never going to be a million mile an hour from day one. For that to happen, we'd have needed some real good fortune, not the setbacks that we've obviously had. So that is a massive positive from today. There's plenty of positives in terms of the application and desire. A team that didn't want to die 9v10. Don't underestimate how hard that is, particularly the conditions, and have plugged away, which is the type of team we wanted to put out. So we'll stick with it. Not where we want to be after 5 games, but I am aware there's 41 more.